What's going on, guys? It's Mike Glaspie here again with another episode on Military Cashflow. Today, it sounded kind of like a news anchor, didn't it? I'm getting good, guys. But hey, today we're going to be talking about financial freedom and why it's so important. And then how can you actually identify your financial freedom number? And then how can you help yourself reach that financial freedom much sooner? Okay. It's going to be a quick video, but it's something that we need to discuss. Everybody says, oh, I want to be financially free. Oh, I want to be financially free. And a lot of times it's because, oh, I don't want to work, right? I want to spend time with my kids, which is actually a good one, right? Or I just can't work for somebody else. And that's fine, right? But we need to understand, what does it actually mean to be financially free? Why is it so important, right? One hand, you have people who are chasing financial freedom. On the other hand, you have people who say, oh, I don't need extra money. I'll just work, right? Why do you need money? Why are you so focused on money? And the way I like to think about it, and I did not make this quote up by any means, but somebody once said, think about money like oxygen, right? When you're breathing and you're just walking around, you're not thinking about air. Why? Because it's abundant. Now, you go underwater and hold your breath, all of a sudden, a minute in, you're like, I want to breathe, right? Because it's not there. It's no longer, it's a lack of a resource at that point, right? That's how money is. When you're thinking about money and you're sitting there worried about the next paycheck, the next bill, ooh, can I afford this? You don't have enough money. You don't, right? It's not abundant. It's still a scarce resource for you. So in that case, you're now concerned. That's one more stressor that's pulling on you, right? It's tearing apart your marriage or your relationship. It's making it hard for you to give the kids the lifestyle you want. It's making it hard for you to go on those adventures and have those experiences, right? So when we look at financial freedom, it's not about the money. It's about the opportunity, right? When you have financial freedom, you now have the option to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. Right? Wouldn't you like to be able to tell your kids, hey, you guys always want to go to Disneyland. You know what? We're going to Disneyland. You've been good. You got your grades. You did all this. You've been a good kid this year. Let's go to Disneyland. Right? Yeah, we'll take a week off. Spend the whole week on Disneyland inside their hotels. Now, I'm full disclosure, guys, I've actually never been to Disneyland. I still want to go. I'm a grown man now, but I will be all up in there with the Mickey Mouse ears and everything if I ever got the opportunity. But, it's going to be weird. I ain't got no kids. So it's just like me. I'm not trying to get arrested, right? So, but anyway, nonetheless, back to the point. When you have that financial freedom, you have that opportunity, right? You have that option. And that's why it's so important. Because that truly gives you freedom to make choices, right? That's why it's important. Now, how do you find your financial freedom number? A lot of times when I sit down with, whether it's a newer agent, a newer investor, whatever the case may be, and we start mapping out a strategy to actually create more passive income, right, for that financial freedom, we then typically, they'll come out with a number. They'll say, oh, I want $10,000 a month in passive income or $20,000 a month in passive income. And that's all great. That's fine. But why? Why? Right? Well, because I can travel more. I can do all this. I can do all that. Got it. I understand. But why 20,000? Right? Why 10,000? How much do you actually need to do all those things? A flight is not that expensive. Okay. An Airbnb is not that expensive. Right? So let's say, first, you got to figure out how much you need to actually live, right? Sorry, so let's back up. How do you find your financial freedom number? You have to figure out how much you need to live, right? Because we're talking about what is it that's going to allow you to have that freedom and that flexibility. So the first way you're going to do it, and we're going to be systematic with it, you're going to take essentially your monthly expenses. Now, if you really want to dig it out, if you really want to fine tune this as much as you can, we're not just talking about rent, food, mortgage, car note. We're not just talking about the essentials. We're talking about, how do you live your life, right? You go out to eat every now and then, right? You probably have Netflix and you chill, right? You got all these different things that you do. You go to the mall, you do all that stuff. Include that, figure it out. So the way I like to do it is you can either take 3 months, right? Your past 3 months of all the expenses that you have, and you could take an average to figure out how much money do I have to spend, or do I spend, to live the lifestyle that makes me feel comfortable, okay? If you really want to fine tune it, go a full year, Take every month over the past 12 months, right? And take an average to figure out how much do you spend. Figure that number out, right? Now, go ahead and buffer it just a little bit. Just a little bit, because think about it. In your mind of financial freedom, you're not still confined, right? You have that freedom to make those choices. Now, I'm not saying you're just buying Maseratis and buying private jets, right? But nonetheless, you have those choices. You have that freedom. You have the option. So I like to buffer it with a little 10%, right? I figure out whatever my average is that I'm spending, buffer about 10%, add on another 10%. That's your financial freedom number, right? Once you're bringing in enough passive income to exceed that number, you are now financially free to make the decisions you want to make, right? To make those choices. Hey, do I want to stay at this job? Right? No right or wrong answer, right? Hey, can I afford to take off this week or these 2 weeks? Right? Now you have those options because you know you can, right? The passive income is coming in. All right. So now that you understand the importance of financial freedom and you know how to really find that number, right? Find a good number, not the bare essentials. Everybody tries to just figure out, well, I need rent, I need this. No, you want to live, right? Financial freedom. Find that good financial freedom number. Now, how can you actually achieve it quicker? That's the key. First thing that everybody wants to do is just cut all expenses. I'm cutting this, I'm cutting that, I'm cutting this. It's not a bad thing, but it can only go so far, right? You have to know what your expenses are before you can even start slashing them, right? Does it make sense to slash them? So the first thing you have to do is get a budget. Get a budget. And when I say budget, people think of it like diet. I'm not telling you that you have to start cutting things. A budget is literally just a line itemized list of everything that you're spending money on. Like track it. Track it. You have to track. You have to know where your money is going. Only then, right? Only after you actually have that budget can you then go back and look to see, okay, hey, I've been paying for this monthly subscription to Forbes magazine. And I probably haven't read one in a year and a half, but I'm paying $7 for it a month. I don't need that. I can cut that, right? Now it makes sense for you to actually cut things, right? If you enjoy watching Netflix, do not remove your Netflix account. That $10 is not going to make you financially free, right? Or whatever it is, $8 or whatever, how much Netflix is nowadays. I don't know. That little measly little $10 is not going to make you financially free. If that's what you find enjoyment in, keep it. Keep it. Now, side note, this is going to be a little bit of a rant here, but if you lack conviction to take action, get rid of the damn Netflix. All right, get rid, because that's what the issue is that you're sitting there on your ass watching Netflix instead of actually taking action. Now, on the other hand, if you go out there, you grind, you're doing your proper investments, you're doing everything you need to do, and that's your way of relaxing, keep the damn Netflix, okay? After you go through that budget, you can start finding what you can cut expenses on. So that's number 2, right? You need the budget. Then you start cutting useless expenses, right? The stuff that you don't really use, right? The monthly subscriptions that are just kind of pointless. Or if you start seeing like, hey, I'm spending a lot of money on going out to eat. Like, I mean, 40% of my expenses is going out to eat. Okay, let's reel that in a little bit, right? Maybe do some more grocery shopping. A lot of money on Ubers. Okay, maybe we do Uber Pool or something and get a couple more people on there, right? Figure out ways to start shaving down those expenses. And there's all different kind of tricks. For example, real estate investors, we tend to love systems, marketing systems, auto dialers, letter campaigns, all this good stuff, right? And that's all fine. But every time we have this new system, that's another premium. That's another fee, right? What if we actually analyze our business models and figure out which one of these systems is yielding us the most bang for our buck, right? It's like the 80-20 principle. There's about 20% of what you're doing that's producing 80% of your results. Figure out what system that is. Get rid of the rest. Or find a system that has multiple features in it, right? And now instead of paying 6 different premiums, you're only paying 1, right? Finding those unique ways to kind of really shrink down the expenses is going to be extremely imperative. But it's also starting to train you to think creatively, because although you're looking at it from a personal perspective, that's how you have to operate your business. You have to find ways to streamline your finances in your business, right? So you got your budget, you start cutting or compiling expenses, right, to reduce them. Now what? You can only cut so much, right? Even if you said, hey, I'm moving out of my house, I'm going to go get a shitty little 1-bedroom apartment or rent out a room. Okay, great. You reduced your living expenses down low, but you didn't get rid of it, right? Now you said, hey, I'm never going out again and I'm only going grocery shopping. Okay, you shrunk it down a little bit. Now you're saying, hey, at the grocery store, I'm just eating rice and beans for the next 2 months. Okay, you pretty much, wiped it out, but it's still there. You could only shrink it so much before you start deteriorating your quality of life. Guys, real estate investing, all this investing stuff, right? We're trying to design a lifestyle that we're aspiring to. Why the hell would you force yourself to suffer needlessly for years? Don't get it twisted. There's a difference between uncomfortable and suffering. And I've been uncomfortable a lot. I've house hacked this is the first apartment I've ever rented in my entire life because I've always been house hacking and renting out rooms and all this other stuff, right? So I understand that being uncomfortable, but there's no reason for you to suffer. And you can only cut expenses so much before your quality of life starts to deteriorate. Okay. So after you increase or decrease expenses, you're still going to have some expense left. What's the only other option? Increase income. That's it, right? So you got your budget, you decrease expenses, and then you have to increase your income. Now, obviously, this is all about cash flow, and we love investment styles, right? It can be dividend yields for if you're into stocks. Obviously, it can be rental properties. That's what we like. It can be things like revenue or profit share programs, depending on who you're with, right? What company you're with. It can be another job altogether. It can be the Ubers and the Lyfts. It can be all that stuff, right? But after you you cut off all your expenses, you have to find a way to increase income. Only through that discretionary income, that excess income, can you actually start to take it and dump it into something that's passive. Now, if you guys get real creative, there are a lot of different passive styles of investing or cash flow design, revenue design that actually doesn't take much capital to begin with, right? So as dividends, for example, if you're getting something like a 2% dividend yield, or that's actually fairly high, but say it's like a 50-cent dividend yield on a $70 stock, you're going to need like $2 million or something in there. And obviously these numbers are off, but you get my point, right? You're gonna need like $1 million, $2 million for you to start actually being able to use those dividends. So why would you put $100 into a dividend paying stock and you're like, I got my dividend? Why, right? Why $100? Put $1 million in there. If you don't have $1 million, maybe we need to focus on things like revenue share, right? Or profit share, right? Based on performance, but it's still passive. Maybe a referral system, right? Maybe an affiliate program, right? Something like that. And so you're essentially taking and you're leveraging out somebody else's expertise or somebody else's product or whatever to then create some residual income, but it took no money from you, right? You see what I'm saying? So you got to be creative with that. But that's pretty much it, guys. You got to figure out where your money's going. You got to cut the expenses as much as you can. And then you got to turn around and you got to increase the income. That's it. It's just that simple. So I know this was a quick video, but again, I want to thank everybody for listening. If you guys are interested in some of this awesome military cash flow swag, go to the website. It's all there. Just get up in there and buy some. We got hoodies, hats, koozies. I don't know. We got a lot of stuff though, but definitely check it out. As always, guys, if you like the content, hit that smash button. Drop a comment below about what you thought about financial freedom in general. What does it mean to you, right? Why is that important to you? Everybody's why is a little bit different. And then obviously, guys, go ahead and check out the Facebook group and add in some comments there. There's so many. I mean, now I think we've grown over to about 4,000 members. It's grown so fast, guys. We have so many people in there that are constantly providing value and insight to their experiences, dropping tips, looking for a realtor and all that good stuff. And speaking of that, if you are looking for a realtor in your market, let us know. That's what we're here for. We'll obviously screen that realtor to make sure that they understand exactly what your investment strategy is, and we'll get you in contact. That takes a lot of the legwork off of it for you. But until next time, guys, this is Mike Glaspie signing off.